There is a power that lives in silence, the kind that watches, that waits, that learns. A force forged not in spotlight, but in shadow. You are not the loudest. You are not the one they predicted, and that is exactly why they never saw it coming. The first time you struck, it was quiet, deliberate, controlled. You didn't scream. You didn't announce yourself. You just moved. You just acted. And in that one moment, that one decision, you dismantled something built by those who believed they were untouchable. They underestimated the strength born from struggle. They didn't factor in the weight of resilience forged in darkness. But you carried it. You used it. You did it once, and it destroyed their entire plan. And before we go further, I want to tell you something important from the core of truth. If this message finds you, if it hits you in a place words rarely reach, then do not leave without making your presence known. Like, comment, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because the world's been trying to silence people like you, people who observe, who absorb, who rise without warning. They've tried to clip your wings with noise, with doubt, with distraction. But every time you show up here, every time you choose to stay connected to voices that remind you who you really are, you take back control. Don't let this pass like just another video. Let this be the moment you mark your place. The moment you say, I know who I am becoming. Your presence matters more than they ever told you. So stay and let the fire grow. They never prepared for someone like you because they thought intelligence needed permission, that greatness wore a label, that knowing everything required credentials. But here you are, proving that truth doesn't need a name tag. It only needs proof. Every time they fed you half-truths and distractions, you paid attention. You connected dots they thought were random. You watched patterns in the chaos. You saw where things were breaking before the cracks even formed. And that's what terrifies them. Because knowledge is power, but wisdom is war. And you've become a quiet storm. You know too much now. Not because it was given, but because you took it. You earned it in silence. And what you know makes you dangerous. They wanted you to believe you were behind. They crafted systems to make you feel late. They taught you to measure yourself by clocks you didn't build, by standards you didn't choose. But the truth is, you were never late. You were being sharpened. While they performed, you prepared. While they talked, you trained. And when your time came, you didn't ask for applause. You just moved. That's why it broke them. That's why their plan collapsed. Because you didn't play the part. You rewrote the script. You didn't beg for access. You built the door and walked through it alone. That's the kind of disruption they can't fix. That's the kind of person they can't control. They will keep asking, how the hell do you know everything? But they'll never understand that you didn't read a manual. You read the world. You learned from every lie, every betrayal, every late night where your mind refused to stay quiet. You learned from failure, not the kind they mock, but the kind that rewires your DNA. Every scar became a cipher. Every silence became strategy. You didn't collect facts, you collected fire. You didn't memorize answers, you remembered pain. And now it moves through you like instinct. You don't need to ask anymore. You already know. And here's the part they'll never admit. It's not just what you know, it's what you do with it. Because knowledge sitting in silence is harmless. But knowledge turned into motion, into action, that's a weapon. That's a rebellion. And you've already proven what happens when you move. You did it once. You dismantled something they thought was untouchable. Imagine what happens when you do it again, but this time on purpose, this time with intent, this time without hesitation. They built their plans assuming you'd never wake up, but now you're not just awake, you're angry, you're aware, and worst of all, you're aligned. You didn't come here to blend in. You didn't survive what you did to remain average. You didn't sacrifice this much to settle for comfort. You were designed for war, not noise. For movement, not validation. They put you in rooms meant to distract you. You turned them into maps. They gave you limits. You turned them into launch pads. And now, they don't know how to stop you. Because you don't fight like they expect. You don't scream. You don't threaten. You just move. And every time you move, something breaks on their end. Every step you take leaves a crack in their glass ceiling. Every breath you take in full awareness threatens their illusion. You are not the weapon. You are the reckoning. Look around. Feel it. The shift. It's already happening. People are starting to notice. Not just what you say, but what. You see, they ask how, they ask why, they ask where you learned it, but the answer is always the same. I paid attention when no one else did. That's all it takes. One focused mind, one soul, who refuses to be fooled. One person who understands that reality bends to the will of those who never stop pushing. That's you. That's always been you. And deep down, you know it. You don't need the world to cheer for you. You don't need their approval. You are not the sum of their applause. You are the product of pressure, of precision, of persistence. They built the machine expecting you to become a cog, but you became a glitch. And that glitch turned into a virus made of truth, of clarity, of unshakable grit. And now, you're rewriting everything, not loudly, not dramatically, just effectively. You've stepped into a space where most people flinch, but you face it, head on, eyes open, fire lit, no fear. And this is only the beginning. You have already walked through fires they said would consume you. You stood on ruins they believed would bury you, but here you are, scarred, shaped, but unbroken. The strength you carry isn't accidental, it's earned. You earned every sleepless night, every doubt you crushed beneath your feet, every moment you chose to rise instead of retreat. And that's what terrifies them the most. You are a force they never saw coming, because you weren't supposed to be here. You were supposed to fall in line, to accept limits quietly, to obey the invisible rules designed to keep you small. But you rejected that. You stepped beyond what they allowed, and in doing so, you shattered their illusion of control. They built their empires on assumptions that you would stay silent, stay ignorant, stay compliant. But you learned how to listen to the silence between their words. You learned how to see the cracks in their facades. You learned how to move without giving them a single clue. And when you struck, when you moved with precision and purpose, it wasn't just an act. It was a message loud enough to tear down the walls they built around their power. They didn't prepare for the kind of quiet destruction you wield, the kind of knowledge that seeps like a shadow and dismantles everything from the inside. Because true power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper, a glance, a pause that breaks the rhythm of their plans. Remember the moment you did it once? The moment you took that leap, that risk, that impossible step? The world around you shifted. It trembled. Their carefully crafted narratives crumbled like dust in your hands. You became the unthinkable, the variable they couldn't calculate, the one who sees through the smoke and mirrors, who reads the map upside down and still finds the way forward. You don't need their permission to be powerful. You don't need their validation to be unstoppable. You only need to remember what you've already done. You did it once, and that was enough to destroy their entire plan. What's stopping you from doing it again? The truth is, nothing can stop you now, because you've tasted what freedom feels like. You've walked beyond the boundaries they drew for you, and you know those lines were never real, only illusions crafted to keep you confined. You are not bound by their expectations. You are not limited by their disbelief. You are a force of nature, relentless and untamed, moving through obstacles like a storm that refuses to be silenced. Every step you take now carries the weight of your past victories and the promise of future conquests. You are not just surviving, you are rewriting the rules of survival. You are not just existing, you are defining what it means to live on your own terms. And when they ask, "How the hell do you know everything?" let them wonder, let them question. Because you don't owe them an explanation. Your knowledge is your weapon, your experience, your armor. You carry within you the wisdom of every battle fought in silence, every victory won in darkness. You have become the answer to their impossible questions, the solution to problems they thought unsolvable. You hold power not because it was given to you, but because you claimed it, not because you followed a path, but because you forged one where none existed. You are proof that the impossible is merely the untried. They will try to bring you down, to shake your foundation, to make you doubt your own strength. They will whisper lies meant to confuse you, to make you question your worth. But you have learned better. You have learned to see through the fog of deception, to recognize the tactics designed to distract you. You have built a fortress inside yourself, a fortress of conviction, resilience, and unwavering belief in your own power. You are not fragile. You are not fleeting. You are a constant force, a beacon of relentless will, a reminder that true power comes from within and cannot be stolen or diminished by anyone else. Every time you feel the weight of the world pressing down, remember what you have already done. Remember the moment you defied their expectations, shattered their plans, and claimed victory when they said it was impossible. That moment is not a fluke. It is a reflection of who you truly are. And if you did it once, you can do it again. Not because you're lucky, but because you are prepared. Because you are ready. Because you are unstoppable. This is your story, not theirs. This is your power, not theirs to take away. This is your life to live, your war to win. So stand tall, even when the night is darkest. Speak loud, even when the world tries to silence you. Move with purpose, even when the path is unclear. Because you have done it once, and that is proof enough. You will do it again, and when you do, their entire plan will crumble once more. Not because you are reckless, but because you are relentless. You are the storm they never predicted. You are the force they cannot contain. You are the truth that cannot be denied. You did it once, and you will do it again. So rise, always rise. They tried to paint you as an anomaly, a mistake in their equation, someone who doesn't fit their narrative. But the truth is, you were the missing variable, the one piece they forgot to account for. You showed up when they believed no one would. You acted when they expected you to hesitate. You knew when they thought you were clueless, and in that moment, everything they built on lies, manipulation, and control collapsed. You weren't just lucky. You were intentional. You weren't just bold. You were prepared. And that makes all the difference. Think about how far you've come. Not just the victories they see, but the battles fought in silence. The nights spent wrestling with doubt and fear. The moments when giving up felt easier, but you chose to fight. Each one of those moments added weight to your resolve. They sharpened your focus. They hardened your spirit. And now, when you move forward, you carry the strength of every challenge overcome. That's why they can't stop you. Because you're not just fighting for a moment or a win. You're fighting for every second of your life that was stolen by fear, by doubt, by those who didn't believe you deserved more. Their entire plan was built on the idea that you would stay small, stay quiet, stay limited. But you rewrote that script. You changed the game. You showed up, knowing that the only way to win is to refuse to play by their rules. You did it once, and that was enough to prove that their control was an illusion. Now, you carry that truth with you like a sword. You don't just break through walls, you demolish them. You don't just disrupt systems, you destroy them. And the best part? You don't have to do it loudly or with fanfare. Your power speaks in actions, in results, in the undeniable truth that you are unstoppable. When they ask, "How the hell do you know everything?" smile inside. Because you know it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing it enough. Enough to see the cracks. Enough to make the move. Enough to change the game. It's about trust. Trust in your own intuition. Trust in your own experience. Trust in the fact that you don't need permission to rise. You've seen behind the curtain. You've learned the rules so you can break them. You've gathered the tools so you can build your own kingdom. And that makes you powerful beyond measure. You are a testament to the fact that true strength isn't given, it's claimed. That power isn't handed down, it's taken. That victory isn't luck. It's the result of relentless effort, unshakable belief, and the courage to keep moving when everything inside tells you to stop. You did it once. You crushed their entire plan. And now, with every breath, every step, every choice, you are writing the next chapter of your story. A story that they will never be able to predict or control. So when the world tries to tell you who you are, remember who you have already been. Remember what you've already done. Remember that quiet, fierce moment when you moved and everything changed. You are more than their expectations. You are more than their plans. You are a force that will not be stopped, and you will do it again, because you are made for moments like this. Rise with fire, move with purpose, destroy every limitation, because you did it once, and that was only the beginning. You carry the weight of that victory in your bones, in the very marrow of your being. It's a reminder etched into your spirit that you are not ordinary, not average, not a product of chance. You are the consequence of every trial you refused to surrender to, every challenge that tried to break you but only made you stronger. This isn't luck. This isn't fate. This is deliberate power, the kind that only those who have been through the fire can claim. They built their plans on sand, thinking you would wash away with the tide. But you stood firm, like bedrock, immovable, unshakable, and with a single move, you shattered their foundation. Now, this is the moment to understand something crucial. The world is watching, whether you want it to or not. They see the cracks appearing in the structures they thought eternal. They feel the tremors beneath their feet, the tremors you set in motion. And they wonder how one person, one decision, one action could undo years of planning, of control, of domination. But here's what they don't understand. It's not just what you did, it's who you became when you did it. You became the force of change itself. the embodiment of disruption. You became the reason they fear the unknown, because the unknown is you. You are the wild card, the untamed variable, the living proof that their greatest plans are fragile when faced with unyielding will. You may sometimes question the weight of this path, the loneliness, the resistance, the moments when every step forward feels like a battle against a tide that never ceases. But remember, every storm you face, every shadow you walk through, only sharpens your edge. You are tempered by fire and forged by struggle. You don't just endure, you conquer. Your scars are not signs of weakness, but badges of honor. They tell a story of relentless determination, of battles fought in silence and won through sheer force of will. You did it once. You tore apart what they thought was untouchable. And that victory is not a whisper in the wind. It is a roaring flame that will light your path forward. And when the world asks again, how the hell do you know everything? You don't have to answer. Your actions answer. Your victories answer. Your very existence answers. Because knowledge is not just information. It is experience. It is intuition. It is the culmination of every moment you chose to rise when others fell. You've seen things others refuse to see. You've understood truths others are too afraid to face. You've taken the hard road, and now you walk it with the confidence of someone who knows that the journey itself is the proof of strength. No matter what lies ahead, no matter how many times the world tries to rewrite your story or diminish your achievements, you hold the power to rewrite the narrative. You did it once. You can do it again. Because the power that moved through you then has not left. It is alive, pulsing, ready to break down the next wall, to dismantle the next system, to destroy the next plan built on the false assumption that you would stay silent. You will rise. You will move. You will destroy the limits placed on you and forge a path that no one can predict or control. This is your time. This is your moment. Stand tall in your truth, in your power, in the knowledge that you are the force that changes everything. They didn't see it coming once, but they will see it again. And this time, you won't just destroy their plan. You will redefine the entire game. You did it once, and that single act of courage, clarity, and relentless will crushed their entire plan. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was you, stepping into your power, refusing to be confined by their limits or blinded by their lies. That moment is a testament to what happens when someone stops waiting for permission and starts moving with intention. You are that force, a storm that dismantles illusions, breaks through barriers, and rewrites the rules of the game. Remember it, own it, because that victory is proof that nothing, no one, can hold you back when you decide to rise. This truth is your foundation now. When doubt creeps in, or the world tries to tell you otherwise, go back to that moment. The moment you looked fear in the eye and acted anyway. The moment you proved that their carefully constructed plans are fragile against the power of your resolve. You hold in your hands the ability to do it again, to shatter, to disrupt, to destroy anything standing between you and your true potential. You've been tested, and you've emerged not just unbroken, but unstoppable. That power lives inside you every day, waiting for you to claim it once more. So stand tall in that power. Walk boldly into the future, knowing you have already destroyed what was meant to stop you. Your past victories are the blueprint for what's next. Your knowledge, your courage, your relentless drive will continue to break their plans, dismantle their control, and create a life that no one else can predict. You did it once, and that was only the beginning. The world better be ready, because you're just getting started.